2020 beer review, our second beer up, is going to be our Unicorn Stout, brewed in 2020. It's our second beer brewed of the year. It's an American style stout. We had a few different iterations of this before. In 2020 we decided to try something different. We tried a different yeast, we used espresso, and we tried to smoke the espresso as well. So a few different offerings that we brought to the table. We actually tasted this in our 2019 review as well because it was completed. So we kind of already got a side-by-side. But kind of going back to it, I'm curious to think what our impressions are now.
Yeah. So with this, the style notes we're looking for aroma. It's going to be moderate to strong aroma of roasted malts, often having a roasted coffee or dark chocolate quality. Appearance, generally jet black or very dark brown. Flavor, we're looking for moderate to very high roasted malt flavor, tasting of coffee, coffee beans, dark or bittersweet chocolate, mouthfeel, medium to full body, and overall expression. It says a hoppy, bitter, strongly roasted, foreign style stout.
Okay.
So we're looking for IBU between 35 to 75, ABV between 5 to 7.
Okay, so our ABV clocked in at 5.78, our IBU clocked in at 35.5, and our SRM, or our color, was about 40.
Perfect.
Like I said, we used espresso, we used Sabor by Counterculture. We used 12 ounces of bean, added in the secondary. And then, yeah, we kind of modified the recipe from there. We tried to smoke the espresso as well, which was a different offering. So basically what I did was
How easy was it?
It wasn't, I mean, it was a little more labor intensive doing the espresso as a whole. I think that's probably the more labor intensive part, because I think it resulted in 20 or so shots of espresso that we put into this one.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, so
And
that...
how did you go about that? Did you put it in like a bowl or a pan? Or?
Yeah, exactly. So I basically sanitized a stock or a saucepan basically.
Okay.
And then I put some of those wood style smoking, what are those called?
Pucks.
Little pucks, yeah, on the
Smoke
grill,
pucks.
just to get the smoke going and smoke the espresso on the grill.
Yeah,
So-
that is jet black.
Yeah.
That's a stout if I've ever seen one. Now, whenever we play Call of Duty regular, it seems like
Regular.
you're usually drinking this beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, this definitely is pretty dark.
This is
It's
one of my
definitely
favorites.
darker than the porter.
Yeah. Which is what we want.
Yep, exactly. I was curious about that because I recently
Yes.
had a porter and I thought it was quite dark.
Yeah.
But you know,
Sort of
after holding the porter up, you
For
see a
sure.
little bit of brown.
Yeah.
But this is pretty black, which
It
is
is.
really nice. I'm actually happy with
Yeah,
that.
that's what I want.
Yeah, pretty
It's
dark.
definitely dark, which
Yeah.
is nice. All right, cheers.
Here's
Cheers.
So the 2020 Unicorn Espresso Stout.
Right off the bat, when I smell it, I get
Chocolate.
chocolate.
Chocolate. This one,
It's like a
we went up to
chocolate bar.
5 pounds of chocolate malt in this. Woo! A lot of chocolate. We doubled what we had last time.
You can smell it.
Yeah. And it's heavy on the chocolate on the palate.
It is.
Which I think in our last review of 2019 stout, I think we said too much chocolate, because that's reflected in the next recipe. You can taste the coffee, but it's not as prevalent. It's not as on the forefront.
We actually have had this and reviewed it to the last one, right?
Yes,
Before.
correct.
And we actually did think we wanted more coffee taste over the chocolate.
Yep, exactly.
And
Yeah, 'cause I think it's
I'm
the
gonna stand
method.
by that,
Yeah, I agree with 10%. I think
Yeah,
it's,
which is nice because that's I
Yeah.
wanted our second kind of.
yeah.
And to your point, Zach, you're right. We did last year. We had a few different side by sides. You know, a 2020
Yeah.
brew and a 2019. So we're lucky, basically, because we did the review later in the year. So we had a nice opportunity to try the current year's beers versus what we did in 2019.
I like that point when we compare year-over-year beers.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something we have to do semi-annually, you know, in the middle of the year. You know,
Yes, yeah.
Once we get...
Where we at? What
Yeah.
was our result so far?
Yeah.
Did we achieve what we thought we would?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
because this is a great beer.
It is good. It's
It is.
smooth, isn't
It's
it?
very. I think the
It's
carbonation died a little bit since when it was actually
Yeah,
bottled.
but that's
But on a
okay.
stout, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
because I like having
It's
a lot of
smooth
flavors.
and kind of silky a little bit
Yeah.
in certain aspects.
Good mouthfeel, yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes like the little acidic from the little acidity, yeah.
Of the bean?
Yep, of the
Yes.
coffee bean coming through.
Right.
Right after the chocolate taste on our stuff.
I think that's because we did it the espresso version.
That's exactly why. It's not as mellow or
Yeah.
pronounced.
Yeah.
But to your point, there is some added acidity based on the extraction method,
Yep.
for sure.
Do you like the acidity?
I don't mind it. I like going back to cold brew. I think we had better results with cold brew coffee, and I think it's going to be more consistent. Maybe we do a store-bought cold brew. You know, it'll give us that consistency factor, and we don't have to worry about, you know, picking the different beans and grinding and make sure we do them correctly. Just a different, maybe that's a test or a control that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do like a few cold brews side by side too. I know it's going to translate slightly differently, you know, based on the beer and stuff like
Yep.
that. But we could get a baseline, you know, just different cold brews. What do we like
Yep.
to taste? Just the cold brew, and go from there. Because we did the Starbucks Sumatra because we
yeah.
like the low acidity
Exactly.
in the past. So I'd like to try that, and that's what was our extraction method. I did a cold brew. They used two of those like things we make our yeast in.
Oh,
Yep, and then did two of those for the brew. So we could do a few different side by side and kind of see, you know, what we like. I'm thinking based on what we liked in the past, we may like that lower acidity. You know, some of those
I think
Sumatra
for a beer.
coffees.
yeah, I agree. The Sumatrans
For a beer.
seem to be doing the best for
Yep.
Yeah.
For cold
So
brew
maybe we'll take
extraction.
two of those and then two of something else, lower acidity, or maybe one higher
you like
acidity
acidity
just to get a
though, Chris?
contrast.
Acidity is nice because it gives it that nice like tang to it when you're drinking. It gives it a little punch that you wouldn't expect from
Yeah.
a stout because you're used to the coffee
Something
taste of it.
different.
And it gives you that
Yeah.
like, you know, punches you right there, so it kind of changes your taste
It's not
profile. and
eliminated
everything.
all the way in your opinion, but leave some of the acidity.
Yeah, I think we
but-
could do, like what Jason was saying, different iterations, like where you're gonna see in our other beers, we have, you know,
Sure.
2 pounds or 5 pounds.
Yeah.
We could do one like regular Sumatra from Starbucks, and maybe we can do a Sumatra from maybe like a smaller roaster
Yeah.
and see what the difference
We
is.
started out with Great Lakes coffee, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
bailout line.
originally.
The bailout
Yeah.
line, because they have notes of coffee and, yep.
Okay.
We could do
Second was
some
Sumatra,
different ones,
yeah.
yeah.
the Starbucks Sumatra.
Even that was a fun element.
Yeah.
Remember when we went and tasted coffee?
Yeah,
Down in
exactly.
Detroit for the day.
Yeah.
To Chris's point, if he likes more of the acidic,
Mm-hmm.
why don't we do like something that's an African coffee that's going to be a high acidic, more fruity flavor
Okay.
to the bean itself, and then do a
I think
comparison control against a different Sumatran.
That would probably work well with chocolate,
Yeah,
you know?
because then you'd have a little bit of that bitterness,
Yeah.
a little bit of
Fruity
fruitiness.
notes would complement
Yeah.
the chocolate notes.
Yep, I think that'll give us a couple different options in which way we want to go and see how they work well together. If they're smoother, if they're more acidic, if they're, you know, the aroma pops out a little bit more with the
Yeah.
coffee taste to it. So definitely be able to see not a bad rendition of our stout, but I think cold brew is definitely the avenue, the more
Yeah.
consistency, get more potency out of it. I think,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to espresso.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. And then slightly more carbonation, you guys are thinking, based on what this is?
I think if I remember right, it started out fine, but
Okay.
at this point in time right now, yeah,
Okay.
I think a little bit more.
A little bit, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's just age. That's what I really think it is.
Okay.
It doesn't take away from it because
I'm
I
not,
like the taste.
yeah, I'm not expecting my
Yeah.
stout to like be a heavy
Exactly.
carbonated beer, but
Okay,
yeah,
nice, okay.
Chris.
Yeah, I think by the time you drink the bulk of your stout, the carbonation is perfect. When we do these reviews, obviously, there's more time added to it, so we're gonna be a little more critical of the carbonation on some of the older ones. But when we're actually drinking them, like when we brewed this one, we bottled it, I think
What
it
was
was perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still drink it, you know,
Yep.
almost once a week, it's almost out of all this.
Yeah.
So, I think it's perfect, it aged as it's expected for a stout. And yeah, like Zach said, I don't expect my stouts to be super carbonated where I'm, you know, bloated at that point, so I think it's kind of perfect for its age.
What do you guys think about the bitterness? I know the stylistic guideline says like a hint of hop taste and aroma.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one? Do you think we could add to the hops, or do you think it's right in the ballpark?
Well,
What are your guys' thoughts?
IBUs, we were at what for this? What did we end up at?
And I think the chocolate's very overpowering too, where that's kind of all you're smelling. Which I know before we said we're going to pare back that just a little bit. But in terms of IBU, we landed at 35 and a half.
Well, that's right at the extreme low end. So 35 is the barrier to entry for
Okay.
IBUs. So 35 to 75. To your point, Jay, what might be interesting is doing a higher IBU version of this too, because we're at the low end. Maybe we try something a little bit more hops. That's going to add a little bit of the acidic, a little bit more acidic flavor to them, depending on the hop,
Yep.
and it may change the whole profile of the beer.
Good idea.
Right.
Add another layer to the flavor.
On the next iteration, I have it kind of noted as from 35 to about 40 IBUs. Do you think that would be about right? Or
What's
do you
the
think a little
range?
bit higher?
35 to what?
35 to 75. So we're on the extreme
Big
low end.
range.
It's a very big range.
Big.
IBVU is low too,
5 to 6.
5 to 7. Where we at 5?
5.75.
Okay, I guess we're in the
So
mid.
almost at
We're in the mid.
6.
Yeah.
Let's,
So
let's
that's probably about right, I would think.
we can kick the IBUs up.
So what,
More.
40?
Let's go extreme. Let's
So-
see what 60
Go
is.
extreme.
So
Let's see what
this
60
says-
is.
Everything's
Double
gonna be happy.
No,
now?
but here's-
Honestly though, it's not a bad beer, so I don't
We could do,
mind
no, we have
too much.
iterations though. We could do
Yeah.
a control, which could be
Yeah, but the
this,
whole,
but- and then
the
we
whole
could
no, you
do,
can't, not with IBUs.
So
They all
here,
have to be the same.
but here's what it says here. It says overall impression: a hoppy, bitter, strongly flavored, styled stout.
Well, a lot of the bitterness from this is from the grain, the darker grain that we use. Like usually it's bitterness in this. It's not the alpha acids of a hop necessarily,
But it's
but
the
there's
coffee,
bitterness from
the
the
coffee,
the
the
chocolate,
chocolate,
the dark
and the
grain.
hops.
Right.
But that's one of the major flavor proponents that they're claiming. So I like
Bitterness.
to Zach's point. I think we're right on the right page. But let's take a
I
step to
say
the
almost-
extreme to see where we fall. Maybe we'll like it a lot, but I love this one.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think we
Okay.
should kind of keep similar IBUs. We can go a little bit more maybe and see what we get. But I mean, unless we want to overhaul the whole recipe and make a different iteration of it.
What do you think?
Because I think this is pretty close. I think this is a pretty good beer.
It is. If I
I think
remember right,
more
we-
coffee, less chocolate. I mean, I think it's pretty fucking
I
close.
feel like we did like the 2019 stout better though, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did because that was a different yeast we
Yeast,
used.
yeah.
I think that was
Yeast.
a big
So,
driving
okay.
point.
Different
And
coffee
to your
method.
point,
Yeah.
different coffee, different yeast. And
Yeah.
I think the new recipe that I already read had that yeast. 'Cause I
Okay,
think that was a
cool.
big
So I feel like
taste
we should
kinda-
kind of divert
So-
back to that.
So maybe
and
we
go
cut it in the middle. Maybe we go to
there.
45 IBU or 50.
Why don't we do
Instead of
this?
going extreme, because then you have
We'll do this one twice anyway. Why don't we do one where we go ahead and dial it in with the cold brew?
Yeah.
We keep everything consistent. We try the different yeast, and then we can do another one afterwards with a higher IBU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think, like Zach said, we're pretty much on the cusp of getting this
Yeah.
one where we like it.
I've never been
Once-
upset with our stouts.
Yeah. Once we get this one
It's
perfect, then we
consistent
can play
one,
with it. If we want to go crazy with the hops or IBUs, anything like that.
Okay.
Sounds like we're brewing 2 stouts next year, or this year.
I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
If we get this one,
Not
we're
gonna
real
complain,
close to
you know?
getting it dialed in.
Right, because I
She's on
think
the cusp.
you change so many variables in one iteration.
Yeah.
Because we're going to change the coffee, the extraction method, the grain bill. We're going to change the yeast in the next one. You know what I'm saying? It's
Are we
a lot of different
changing or
changes.
reverting back to the?
Well, we're
2019?
changing from this version.
Back
Well,
to
we're going to
2019.
2019, but we've already.
It's going to be
approved
different though
2019.
because the grain's going to be different.
Yes, slightly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it should be pretty close to your point. Yeah, but yeah, a change from this one is what I meant. So, okay, I think we got a good
I
idea
think,
then.
yeah, let's
So,
rate
all
this
right,
bad
so
boy.
out of
Zach
5.
starts us out.
The
Going that
5
way.
hop scale.
Shoot. I'm gonna keep it at 3.5 with this one too. It's a solid beer, you know. I think I like 2019 better, but with these changes, you know,
Mhm.
I think we're going in the right direction. So
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it the same.
I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. I think it's a good offering. It's not our best beer that we've done. To Zach's point, I think our last iteration was better. This one we kind of stepped out a little bit because we wanted to see the different extraction method for the coffee, how that landed. We wanted to see if we bumped up the chocolate, how that would be, as well as kind of try different yeast and take a different approach on it. I think we learned a lot from this iteration. I think we got a lot more knowledge under our belts now to kind of make the next version even better than 2019. So 4 out of 5.
I'll do a 4.1, Zach, and Jason, and
You're
Josh.
always drinking.
Okay.
I drink this one quite often. I like the balance that it has as a smooth chocolateness to it. It's balanced out by the coffee's acidity. As we saw, it's not as carbonated, but you know, when we previously drank it, it was carbonated. And I think we stepped out of our comfort zone with the extraction method, different yeast, different grain.
Yep, for
Uh,
sure.
I agree.
Good,
Yeah,
good
you
learning
got points
experience.
to that for sure.
And it's not something that we're always doing, so it's
Mhm.
a different iteration of it. We saw the boundaries of what those different elements bring to the table.
Yep,
Sure.
So,
for sure.
you know, for being as adaptive as this beer is, it's usually one of our consistent beers that we do, and you know, we're always drinking
Yep.
it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a stable or a staple beer. You know, it's
Sure.
one of those, and whatever you do to it, it always comes out one of our better beers of the year. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an adaptive beer, and it brings a lot to the table, regardless of the extraction method or the grain.
Sure.
It always comes together. You know, has that coffee and chocolate taste to it. You know, just which one do you want
Yeah.
more of? Do you want more coffee or more chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
So it comes down to that, I think. And
Okay.
so 4-1.
Sure.
I don't think I can say it any better than Chris just summed it up as,
Yeah.
you know, we made a couple changes, yeast, you know, 2019
Right,
yeast.
to learn, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
for sure.
We're loving the chocolate, we're loving the coffee flavor. We're just 1 or 2 iterations before making it perfection.
Mm-hmm.
This in my book is a
Yeah.
3.9, solid stout. I love drinking it every time we make it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards more of the darker beer now that we're making it more. You know, it's this time of season's beer, the darker beer. You know, I think it's a great offering that we have. What do we got for an average, Shay?
3.875.
There we go.
So a solid offering, a few tweaks for next time for sure. And then we'll kind of make, like you said, I think 2 iterations is a great idea. We'll basically revert to some of the techniques we used last time, kind of see what we get there, and then also make a variation of that where we have more hops, accentuate the bitterness. To your guys' point, I think that's a great point. And then we can go side by side, to your point, try them both, kind of see what we get. So a 3.875 for our Unicorn Stout, a good offering from Pine Realm.
Solid.
Cheers.
Here's